Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, the Deana Robinson and Shanae Wiliams interview. What did they have to say? Join me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics, where the truth lives. I give it to you uncorrupted, unbiased, and unfiltered.
Freddie wins. Fatality. Freddie.
Folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Tonight, let's go over the Deana Robinson and Shanae Wiliams interview they had earlier today. They both withdrew. Good evening, folks. Sorry about that. I had the wrong key there. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I want to go over the Deana Robinson and the Shanae Wiliams. I'm going to start with Deana Robinson. She announced recently that she will be running for District 1. Shanae Wiliams is the current councilwoman representing District 1, who is her boss. She is Shanae Wiliams' legislative aide. And so today, Deana Robinson and her boss were over at Dos Marias to do their interviews for Rue. Let's see what they had to say. I found Deana Robinson's interview quite interesting, actually. And let me know what you think. I think you may find it interesting as well. She does talk about the luxury developments and, what does she think about that? What does she think about the fact that a lot of people cannot afford to live in these luxury developments that are coming in to the city of Yonkers? We'll get into that in a minute, but listen to what you had to say.
In this district, the people in this city, and I want to continue doing the work.
I'm sorry, I started a little earlier.
Why are you running? Okay, why are you running? So let's start with what? Why? Okay. You woke up one day, you said, I'm going to run. Is this something that you've been thinking about for a while? Tell us all there is to tell about that.
Okay, so what do you want me to start?
You start at any place you want.
Got it. So I want to run for District 1 because I love District 1. It's my home. It's my family's home. This is where I grew up. Not only have I grew up here, I have been putting in the work on a government level here for 6 years, and I care deeply about the people in this district, the people in this city, and I want to continue doing the work and showing up every day and helping this community the best way I know how.
Now, since this is
Jesus, I thought we'd do it all the time. Anyway, folks, like I was saying, Deana Robinson there, she is, I was moving my seat, I'm sorry. She's basically saying that she's going to continue where, you know, basically, I guess Shanae's left off, right? She's been involved for 6 years as a legislative aide, and so she kind of knows what's been going on, you know, and she's wants to continue that progress because she says, especially with the schools, they've come a long way, right? She doesn't want to disband, of course not, but they've come a long way, and so she wants to continue that. So again, I want you guys to watch. My opinion is, you know, Deana's the same. She's not changed. We need change. We need change here in the city of Yonkers. And so I want you guys to hear specifically what she had to say about affordable housing and the rents increasing and people not being able to afford them. What does she think about that? And what is she going to do about that, right? More importantly.
Our first interview, a bridge between one more friend.
You know, I'm the queen of networking, so
You are.
I love people. I will talk to any and everyone if you let me. So no bone to pick about that.
What are your priorities at the county?
The
I'm
city.
sorry, at the city level. What are the things that makes you think I am the best person for this job? And these are the things that I will do, or maybe you will continue
Right.
to do as your predecessor if you are elected.
There's a little bit of both. I love Shanae deeply. I respect her, and I think she has done an amazing job. But at the same time, we are two different people. Her interest may not always be my interest, and vice versa. But I am a mom. I have 2 small boys, young boys, both in the public schools here in Yonkers. I care a lot about the schools. I care a lot about their education. I graduated from Yonkers Public Schools, so I know the pros and cons of, you know, growing up here and going to school here. So we've come a long way, but I do feel like there's so much more work to do. Shout out to Dr. Q. We do have more work to do, and I want to focus so much on making sure the schools get more funding, and we've done a good job of that lately. They've got a lot of money, but there's still so much to do. After school activities, extracurricular activities, tutoring, updates just in the physical buildings of the school, ACs, making sure our courts and our tracks are up to par so that when our kids are playing sports, they have the best equipment. That's stuff that matters to me. Of course, still public safety, affordable housing. Those issues are the issues and are still there.
So she says, you know, as a mother of 2, education is very important to her. The Yonkers Public School District, as a product of a graduate of the Yonkers Public Schools District, she understands the pros and cons of, I guess, our school district. She says we've come a long way, and I don't know if we've come a long way. Remember, there was a time when we had a lot of stuff, right? The kids had a lot, and then it was taken away, and some maybe has been brought back, but not a whole lot. So have we truly come a long way? And you got to watch that line. We've come a long way. Anyone that's being supported by the Spano administration and Zahi Jarris's precision strategies is going to use that line. We've come a long way. They must, you know, acknowledge whatever, you know, progress that Mayor Mike Spano has done. But she needs to continue making this progress because they still have, you know, a long way to go. And she wants to get funding. She wants to, you know, she's going to be involved in or she's going to be active in making sure that we have enough funding or more funding for the Yonkers Public Schools, something that the city of Yonkers has struggled with. Our elected officials constantly blaming the state for not providing the city of Yonkers with enough funding, constantly pointing to Rochester as an example, or Buffalo as an example of cities that are getting more money, although they are the same size as Yonkers, right? And they constantly cry, you know, for this money. So what is the plan? How exactly will she go and get more funding for the city of Yonkers? What is her strategy? How does she intend on doing that, right? And this is something that, you know, we have to listen for when we hear these candidates speaking about topics and issues that they are going to address or they would like to address or that are important to them or near and dear to their heart. How are you going to get it done? What's your strategy? Is it a reasonable one? Is it a rational one? Can it truly be done? Right? And so we have to listen for that. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of words and individuals telling us what we want to hear. And I'm not speaking specifically of Deana Robinson. I'm just saying in general, all candidates, what is your plan? What is your strategy? How are you going to execute that plan or strategy? And how effective do you believe it will be and why? Right? Don't just give us a bunch of fluff to all candidates out there. And so I want you to, again, affordable housing is
going to be the issues, and we're going to constantly have to fight for those issues. This is not something that's going to happen overnight. Nothing is fixed overnight. Not one politician or public servant can come in and be Superman and just make everything, work. That's not how it works. That's not reality. So I don't want to give people that false perception that, oh, I get in the office and boom, magic's going to happen. No, but I do believe that working together, everybody on the council, having good relationships with everyone on the council will allow everyone to focus more on the issues and not, who's doing this or who's mad at this one. And, I just want to have a good working relationship with everyone on the council so that the people and the communities and all the districts benefit from everyone coming together and doing what needs to be done.
And how do you feel about working across party lines?
So she feels like, people need to get along. I think we would all agree, right? There's obviously a major divide within our city council. Obviously, you have team Lakeisha and Tasha and team Corazon and Shanae. You have team Moranti, team Breen, and team John Rubo, right? Because they're their own individual teams. And so there's a lot of division, infighting within the Yonkers City Council. And I can't imagine that is a good thing for the people of Yonkers. But ultimately, right, I don't know if you guys have been told this, but I know I have. It starts at the top. And the way that the city council behaves themselves is a reflection of the overall leadership of the city of Yonkers. Why has Mike Spano kept quiet about the term limit meeting from hell? He didn't mention anything about it. As a mayor, I would have said, I am very disappointed in you, young women. You behaved like animals, unbecoming of respectable council members and women, period, human beings, right? I would have made a comment. I would have said something. This is my city. You're making us look bad, right? So why didn't he address it, right? So again, ultimately, that comes from the top down. And this is why we need to come out in June, if you're a Democrat, for the primaries, and most certainly come out in November to vote. Everyone needs to come out. All districts must come out and vote for mayor. And it's very important. It doesn't matter if you're not in District 1 and, you're saying, well, that doesn't affect. It does. It does. As we've seen, right, many times before, the council members vote on things that impact us all, like the term limit extension legislation introduced by Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy. Many people all over Yonkers in every district are upset about that. But so we have to also be concerned with, and I know you can't vote in other districts, but we have to still be involved and show support to the right candidates in all districts because they have impacts on everyone, regardless of what district they ultimately represent. It's very important. Tasha Diaz killed the affordable housing ordinance, flip-flopped on it, right? She flip-flopped and prevented us from for overriding the mayor's veto after they already had gotten it passed. I believe John Rubo also flip-flopped, but John Rubo was, no to begin with. He just wanted to look good prior to his primary election, and act like he was caring about the people who needed affordable housing. But they don't care. And Deana Robinson's, based on her response here in regards to affordable housing, it just seems like she subscribes to the same attitude of it is what it is. Bring on the luxury developments, sink or swim. Hey, it is what it is, right? So listen to what she says. A little bit maybe not sensitive to me. That could be wrong.
But some have different ways of showing that. Okay, rents are too expensive. There is a small percentage for us. The percentage for us are one bedrooms. We have family. We cannot go there. We cannot afford. We have to leave Yonkers, and Yonkers is the place where my mom lived, my
That makes me sad.
father, my
Yes.
grandfather, my great-grandfather, generations and generations, and they don't want to leave the city.
And I don't want them to leave the city.
Yeah, neither do
I don't.
I. We don't. But sometimes, at the end of the month, it's dollars and cents. Can I afford to stay here? And some can't.
I trust me. Like I said, I have two young sons. Looking for apartments, 2 bedrooms, that are affordable on a city income. It's hard. Why do you think I'm the jack of all trades? Why do you
Hold
think
on.
I
Say
started
what?
a business?
Did she just say it's difficult on a city income? The city of Yonkers, city employees here in the city of Yonkers average $179,000, according to a salary website on the internet. Many city employees are making well over $100,000 a year. Many. It's one of the best jobs you could get. I guess it just depends on your position. And hey, Deana, I would go and speak with Shanae because I hear Brenton Bullock is getting $93,000 a year, right? So you should be asking for that too. I'm just saying. But she said it's difficult on a city income, a city employee salary. Well, no, it just depends on the position. But a lot of people in the city are making damn near 200. Some are making almost $300,000 a year here in the city of Yonkers. That's right.
So I find a gig here or work here. I am no stranger to hard work. And I don't mind working hard to make sure that I can provide for my kids. And a mom is going to figure it out, period. No bones about that. A mom is going to figure it out. But I do agree that it is hard to afford some of these up and coming constructions that are happening here in the city. It's not easy. You can't sugarcoat that. It's not affordable for everyone. It's not affordable for everyone. And I do want to see the people I grew up with here in the city, people I played sports with, local community grandmothers that, I was able to go to their house and have snacks after. So I want to see those people be able to stay here. I want to see my kids, if they so choose, be able to raise their families here.
Look, I know tons of.
So she says that, it's sad, right? And she sees it. She agrees. She totally agrees. It's becoming more and more expensive, less affordable for a lot of people. Her friends, a lot of them have moved out of Yonkers, and she wants to see her friends still remain here. She wants to see the grandmas here, that grew up here still remain here, right? And so she, says that it's very sad. She doesn't want anyone, as Rural has asked her, to have to leave Yonkers because of the cost. But what is she doing about it? And how does she truly feel about it? And by the way, the reason why I'm showing the interviews and from Rural's page is because they will not come on the show. So I listen to them and I analyze them. It's very important to hear what they have to say, especially for those who are going to be voting for these individual candidates. So I have to do it this way, folks. That's why, in case anyone asks why I do it. They won't come on. I ask the real questions.
People, because I've been living in Yonkers for tons of years. That's a
Tons of years.
figure of speech. I don't want you to take that to heart. I don't want Chris to take that to heart because he's always calling me an old man.
Oh, come on.
The kids that grew up with us moving out. That's a problem.
I agree. I literally cannot disagree with you at all. That upsets me. And like you said, I have friends who have gone south or moved, and it's sad. It's sad, but it's just the way of the world. You can't. There's nothing we can do. We're gonna have some who stay and fight it out, and we're gonna have some who prefer the warmer weather, and I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm not mad at that either.
So I tell them I envy you in a certain way.
Yeah.
But
So she says that, it's the way of the world. It's nothing you can really do. Some people will stay and others will leave. You're going to have to try to fight it out. Basically, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Every man for himself. You have to, sink or swim. But is that the way an individual who's seeking to represent individuals in a district that is largely impoverished should be thinking? Either you make it or you don't. Oh, well, it's the way of the world. She says she's a mother too, and she's a hustler, and she does what she has to do as a mom. She's going to make it happen, right? And I'm sure a lot of mothers feel the same way. But everybody's circumstance is different. Not everyone is friends with Shanae Wiliams or a specific elected official that will help them, get a leg up. People don't, always tend to live outside of their own reality. And so they see the world in a way, that's their opinion, and they just assume that that's the way it is for everybody. Right? And some people are more fortunate than others. I grew up very poor. I was born in a jail. My mother was incarcerated. And, I used to say, hey, listen, I was able to do it. You can do it. But, as I matured and as I grew older, I realized that, that's not always the case. Right. And I had opportunities that a lot of people are not presented with. And I took advantage of those opportunities. And so, that's why I was able maybe to go in the direction that I did. And so that's why I'm here trying to give back and help give people opportunities like I had, because I know that that's not always often afforded to a lot of people that come from where I come from. I mean, I ended up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Who would have thought that, right? In Oklahoma, guy from Yonkers, New York, southwest side of Yonkers, Puerto Rican guy, in that place. Right. But it was a great experience for me. It, opened up my eyes. It introduced me to a lot of things. And I met my wife there. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Right. And so, I had that opportunity, and not everyone is exposed to that. And so I can't assume that just because I came from this community that, hey, it is what it is. You got to, you can do it too. Right. Because some people just don't have that opportunity. Some people don't. Never leave their neighborhood for one reason or another, right? And so, I just thought that wasn't, the attitude I think someone looking to be a council person should have. I think should be a little more compassionate, a little more considerate, to people's feelings. There are people that are trying, and I've heard, from many people who are, having to move out for one reason or another, and it's all resulting from what's happening with the luxury developments coming into Yonkers, rents going up, so now the building department's coming in looking to shut down buildings. So they have to, leave. They're being evicted for that reason. Now, all of a sudden, their landlords are taking them to eviction court, even though they've been trying to work something out with them, right? Or they are being evicted because they haven't been paying rent, but the apartment has not been, maintained or fixed forever. And so, there's that whole feud and, standoff, many reasons, but no one seems to be helping the tenants out or caring. And this is why they are reaching out to Freddie Vasquez. And as, a podcast host, not an elected official, I could only do so much, as well, but just tell their stories and hope that lights a fire under these elected officials' ass, or maybe shames them into doing something, right? No mother should have to live with black mold, mother of four. Right. And so some people are more fortunate than others. And Deana is a bit more fortunate than others. Her father is Reverend Norman he's the director of the Veteran Affairs here in Yonkers. Right. Her husband, works for the city of Yonkers, DPW. And, those guys, they do well. They look at Steve Squig. Steve Squig, right? You do well, right? You guy do well, $200,000 a year. And then the access that they get and stuff, that others are not afforded, right? It's so you have to be considerate of that. Not everybody gets to be able to campaign, right, with Rue Roast there while they're supposed to be at their job and they're getting paid. Did you clock out? I know your boss was there, but technically your guys are campaigning. Are you guys getting paid by the city to campaign? So not everybody's that fortunate to be able to double dip. And so you just have to, think about this. Just be considerate of this if you want to, represent the people. And I'm not saying she's bad people, Danny. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying at all. She appears to be a strong woman and could be a good council person. And that's, and I may say that about her specifically, but that's not just her. It's a lot of people that don't, sometimes they don't see that. That said, her father was at the hearing supporting term limit extensions as well and has a well-paid job with the city. I had a conversation with him where he did not divulge his employment with the city. A vote for her is a vote for Spano, 1,000%. And that's my point there, Danny. And I'm not saying she's a bad person. She's good people. No, I'm sure she is a good person. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm not saying anything other outside of her political, what she's speaking of in terms of her politics and her campaigning here. And what I'm saying is that to say that, some people are going to leave, some people are going to have to leave, some people are going to stay, some people are going to have to leave, you're going to have to fight it out. What does that mean exactly? You're looking to represent people, specifically those people that are at this point anyway, as it stands now, are the ones that are, having to have that decision, come up to that decision. Are we going to leave? Can we find another place to live that we can afford? Where do we go? I guess she said down south to the warm weather and enjoy. At least you get the warm weather, right? And so that just comes off as insensitive when, and I don't know about you, Danny, but I have people reaching out to me about their housing situation. Right, man, I almost have like a survivor's guilt myself, like, kind of like this thing where I feel bad myself, like, that I've, had the blessings that I've had in my life and not others. And I'm just like, why is that? Right, because I don't think I'm better than anybody, or I'm more deserving than anybody. I don't think that, and so, that's why I'm speaking out. I've taken a lot of hits for it, big time. Right. And, Deanna Robinson is part of the political in crowd, and she is. And so people need some help, especially when it comes to housing. There's been a housing crisis for quite some time now. It's nothing new. That is why that Mike Cater introduced that housing ordinance along with Shanae Wiliams, her boss. And that was in 2021. They got it passed, which was very much needed, but then the mayor vetoed it. And it's like these Democrats are not on the same page. It's a Democratic majority at the city council, and they pass a housing ordinance, affordable housing ordinance, which is very much needed during this housing crisis. And the mayor, a Democrat, vetoes it. Then the city council, the same one that passed it, had the opportunity to override the mayor's veto, showing him that we care about the people, mayor. We care about the people, mayor. And we have some say so, and we're going to do this for the people, and continue to vote the same exact way they voted when they passed it, but they didn't. To the surprise of everybody, Tasha Diaz changed her vote. And then she went off in a crazy, wild thing. She was saying, let's get it popping. She was talking all nasty to Shanae Wiliams that day. Same thing like with the term extension vote. And you notice how it's always the votes that we, the people, are really, interested in. Where we are packing the city council chambers, there's always some issue. They don't have issues like that when they have James Sertivall coming in there for Ginsburg to talk about the developments that he's and proposing this plan and stuff, or hoping that they get zoning changes so they can build higher and higher and higher, right? You know what I'm saying? They don't do that during those meetings, right? Because that's what they care about. So that's all I'm saying. Like, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I know she's a good person and her family's all over. She can make a difference because she understands the struggle. But Danny, give me, and she understand. I understand the struggle. A lot of people understand the struggle. How does that make a difference? How does that make a difference? Right? And why not say exactly what are you going to do? What do you intend on doing? Danny, I don't know. Do you understand about the affordable housing ordinance? You know what that is exactly, right? So Teutonia, right, that's going up. And I'm going to give that example again. It's on Buena Vista. AMS is going to build this 906 luxury developments, right? Out of that 906, only 45 are going to be set aside for people that, qualify for affordable housing, which is not people who just don't work. Okay. It's not just lazy people, right? Because they get stigmatized. It's not that. It's people like maybe Deana, or if she was single mom, right, with 2 kids, or maybe even Deana's family, right? Because if they may not have, as she said, it's hard on the city job. So Deana's someone that Tasha Diaz is benefiting from it, right? And so instead of they could have put 180, set aside 180 if they had passed that housing ordinance in 2021. They're only going to put 45. So think about all the families, all the people that could have, that we need to increase the housing stock. There's a shortage. That's why there's a housing crisis. But the developers didn't want it, Danny. So they did what the developers wanted. The developers want Mayor Spano to be in there for another 4 years, not the people. That's why they didn't put it to a public vote. They put it to the council people who represent the developers and the mayor. Right? And Deana, there's no way she's going to be in the in crowd going to Somos in Puerto Rico's and all that, chilling in the pool with Mike Spano and his sister, unless she's going to, and they're going to support her, unless she's going to do exactly what they want her to do. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, lotteries has to do with low income housing, not affordable housing. Okay, so affordable and that's another thing what they did with the lottery, right? So people were already on a waiting list. Then we're talking about municipal housing now, Macy, and where Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, works. People were already on a waiting list. They shook it all up and then did this lottery, and so then people didn't even get chosen in the lottery, which the lottery was only for a spot on the new waiting list that they created. So people who have been waiting for years were like, and they didn't get chosen in the new lottery, weren't even on the list anymore. And so I was in there a couple of times and I was hearing people talking, well, I'm not on the list. I've been waiting for so long and now I'm not on the list. And you know what they're doing? They're knocking down these things, these Macy houses, the public housing, and then they're building them back like, we're building them new and stuff. But a lot of them are coming back with less apartments, right? Like Morford Garden, they have 500. They only built back 100 or so. So whatever happened to the other 400 and those families? They pushed them out. So little by little, Danny, they have been filtering people out, and people ain't even realizing this. They'll sell it to you like they renovated the place, but they actually, took out apartments. Right? So that's what they're doing. And then they're getting rid of the people, and then they're being selective after they finish renovating them, they're being selective of the people that they bring back. And they're mostly bringing back people who are looking for 1-bedroom apartments. What is it? They don't want families in Yonkers anymore? Why are the luxury developments only building studio 1 and 2 bedrooms? Well, they don't want families? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand that. So, so we have to watch the little things. The devil's in the details. Right? And how they're moving, but they're trying to keep us distracted with these, feel good things, right? And by spinning the words, that's all I'm saying, and so the lottery was messed up. It's messed up. It didn't help people, right? I agree with you. Developers shouldn't be here at all, to be honest, and I don't want to say that because then they'll use that against us, right? And I agree that we need economic progress, but how is that being done, Danny, right? Listen, I agree with you, Danny. Honestly, I'm on your side and I'm on your people's side. They just don't realize it, Danny. I know these people well, Danny. I've been around them for years in business. Okay, I know how they operate. I know how they think. Maybe not politics, but business. Okay, they don't care about you. They don't care about the people, even though they're with them right now. Trust me, that's temporary. You're not going to the top with them. Okay, you're not. They're just using you for now. Right? And they're going to be done with a lot of us. There's a lot of people that's in there now. It's going to get used. Like, honestly, people are going to look back at what Tasha Diaz and how this city council, govern, and it's not going to be nice. History is not going to treat them kindly. People may not see it now, but history will show that they didn't, they screwed up. They totally screwed up. They had a freaking opportunity here to do some amazing things, and they screwed up. Because they were caring about their own personal gain and benefit and not doing something incredible. And that's the thing. A lot of people may not see that. That's all I'm saying. they should come on your show and speak. They don't want to. I call them up, but they don't want to. You know, I call them up, they don't want to. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to tell people. And this is why, you know, it's not specifically Deanna Robinson. I'm talking about at this current city council, right? And what they've actually done and the decisions that they've made. Why would Lakeisha Collins Bellamy introduce that term extension? Why? She's saying because there's nobody else that could do the job? Really? There's nobody else, Lakeisha? Is that a fact? How do you know? You know everybody? How do you know? All right, so that's BS.
I love my city, okay? And hopefully I will stay here forever.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Whatever.
God takes you.
God take
Can with what we have. We need
here, and once they here in your district, it's your problem.
Talking about the homeless now.
I mean, we have to deal with it. We have to experience it. We have to walk by it every single day. But it's not just our issue. I love how people make it, oh, what is the city doing? What is the city? We're doing what we can with what we have. We need the higher ups, the county, everyone else to do their part. Everybody has to come together for a solution. And it's not just one solution, there has to be several. People are homeless for several reasons. It's not just one reason. It's not just mental illness. It's not just drugs. There's several reasons why people become homeless.
It's housing,
right?
You know, because as we said on before when I was interviewing.
So what are we doing? So again, she,
homeless
you know, and she, you know, that's an answer that I've heard, you know, from officials already. They pass it on to the county. Granted, yes, technically, yes, but the people of the city of Yonkers, the business owners out there, you know, that are being affected, we're the ones that have to deal with, you know, having to, you know, ultimately the overall problem that is created, right? You have people out there that are literally robbing these businesses. By the time the cops come, they're gone. Why? Because the cops, and this is no disrespect to the police, you guys are just doing what you're ordered to do. They're so busy, you know, protecting Verizon and Con Edison all day long. Why is it that some of these, you know, vans or whatever they're doing need 2 and 3 cop cars? Why? They don't even need one. I'm taking pictures and I'm going to show you folks. Why do we need a cop here? They're robbing stores in Getty Square. We need to do a quality of life, you know, whatever you want to call it, patrol over in Getty Square and get, you know, the people that are smoking K2 in front of the business, they're out. Where are they at? It's not just when the kids come from, you know, school. They need to be there more often. But instead, many of the Yonkers police officers are, you know, doing, I don't know what they're doing really with these, you know, Optimum and Verizon and Con Edison especially, and other companies you see doing stuff in the ground, and they don't need it. They have the flag guys already. It's not like the cops are, you know, directing the traffic. The flag people are, if they even need it. Look at by Nepperhan, right? If you're going towards the Shell there, the D Block Car Wash, Whitney Young. There's that cop that's been there, that one cop, and they got the cone. I mean, does he have to be there? I mean, why? Right? So it's poor management. And they can be in Getty Square. They can be making sure that the quality of life is better there, making sure, hey, either you're going to get assistance or you're going to have to go somewhere. You know, we want to help you. But if you don't, like they say, they don't want help. Okay, if you don't want help, that's cool. That's your American right. But here's what I'm going to tell you. You got to keep it moving, brother. You see, because that business right there, and that could be a white man too if I say brother, okay? That business right there, you know, they don't really want you in front here. You know, I'm just saying. That's it. Right? That's it. You know, so this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, that they're not active. They're not actively governing the city and making a difference. You know, maybe I'm naive. Maybe. I don't know. But can I be, you know, like elected official for the day? I don't want to get paid. Let me just go out there and do some shit. Can I have authority? You know, can I tell the cops, hey, cops, I need you guys to do this? You know, the cones are there by the Con Edison. They look good to me. I don't think anyone's going to hit them. You guys did a great job putting up the cones. I think the traffic pattern is very clear, and the drivers will see it, right? So, you know, now go out there and let's clear up Getty Square. Let's tell them where they can go if they need help. Let's go up Elm Street. You guys been up Nightmare on Elm Street? The abandoned properties there is abandoned bodega or barbershop, whatever it used to be. The gate is not really all the way down. A little kid could get taken in there and raped. Okay? I'm just saying. Something bad could happen in there. Then right next to it, there's the abandoned home that has been taken over by squatters. And I'm just curious to know who went and got that guy out that house to do that video on me. You went all up in there. How you know that, right? So that raises their pensions. Exactly. And listen, I'm not trying to knock the cops, and I'm not trying to knock them raising their pension by working overtime and stuff. But is that really overtime? Like, I think something's going on with the numbers because, those companies have to reimburse the city. From what I'm understanding, the money doesn't go back into the police budget, but instead goes into the general fund. Now, are they telling these companies that, hey, this is overtime, right? When it's really not. And they're paying them the overtime thing, putting it in your general fund. And they're actually making a little profit there, right? Because these, I don't see a lot of cops around in Getty Square. And again, there was a couple incidents where cops were called. And by the time they got there, the people were long gone. And that's frustrating to the business owners. So now they're taking the law into their own hands. They're chasing these guys. And so then they're going to get in trouble for assaulting the thief, right? Is that how it works now? Because, and I'm not blaming the cops. I get it. You guys are told to go. Hey, this is your post. Hey, this is where you got to go. And that's what you do. You don't make decisions. It comes from the top. Those that make the deals with Con Edison and Verizon.
I mean that you don't work.
Right.
There is a lot of people that
can't afford rent.
Exactly. One of the reasons for homeless is I cannot afford the rent. Not that I don't work. It's that I cannot afford the price of rent.
Listen, I'm telling you, if we were to miss 2 paychecks, a lot of us would be homeless.
A lot of people, we just
We
a
are
paycheck away.
That's it. And that's why you need to operate in grace. And everybody in the community needs to do what they can, to help the next person.
And I have a hashtag.
So, she says it. She admits it. She says everyone is a lot of people are about 2 paychecks away, missing. If they miss 2 paychecks, they'll be homeless, right? 2 paychecks away from being homeless. So you understand that that's a real problem. Yet, that's the way the world is, I guess. What are you going to do about it? That's what I'm saying, Danny. What is she going to do? Maybe, what is she going to do specifically? What is your plan? Are you going to actually be the one to finally get a housing orders in place so we can increase the stock of affordable housing? Are you going to slow down these developments that for whatever reason, they're just speeding through these developments? Why are they building so fast, so quick? It's like it's a race almost to see who can get it done quicker. And it's so much in such a small area. And I don't know, I'm not a city planner. I don't know. I'm not an architect, but it just seems like it's too many buildings in a small area. And it's just going to be dangerous, I think. More cars, more people, and that's, she cares. I'm not, she cares. Okay. Now, a lot of people care, but there's a lot of people out there, right? Like I care. I'll go out. I do every week, I feed the homeless myself. When we're talking about the homeless people, I fund that. I even pay for it out of my own money, and I take my own time to do it. Right. And I don't post it every week. I might a couple of times just because I got to let look, I am actually doing something. Don't say, what are you doing, Freddie? Because I've gone that a lot. It's so funny when people say that, believe it or not. Very funny, right? I do that on my own. None of the elected officials have come and say, hey, how can we support? I've tried to connect with Feeding Westchester so I don't have to continue to fund it. But they don't want to help me. They give me the runaround. But they'll help Tasha Diaz. They'll help Corazon. They'll help all these elected officials. That's not their job. Get a housing ordinance passed, right? That's not your job. But they'll sell you on such a great job they're doing based on that. When people like me and other organizations are out there willing to do it, but they won't support them. They won't connect them with the, Feeding Westchester because they want it for themselves so they can then post it. Right? This is the game, folks. This is what I'm trying to say, Danny. It's a game. They're playing a game on everybody, and it's hard for me to say this sometimes because so many people that I don't want to have a problem with, like you, Danny, or I don't even want to have a problem with Deana or anybody, it causes me to have this problem with them because I say these things about the individuals that they have this relationship with. And I get it. Everyone's reality and relationship, experience is different, but you have to ultimately look at the way they are as a politician, because that's all the same. It doesn't matter where you're looking for. Well, I guess if you're a developer, you want them to kill the housing ordinance, right? But for the most part, for the people, right, looking at it, why have you guys not passed a housing ordinance? There is a huge need. Why is it taking so long and they still don't have one? You know why? Because they want to get all these developments that are going up grandfathered in, so they don't have to abide by a new housing ordinance. So ultimately what that says is that they work for the developers. And so now will Deana Robinson, as good of a person she is, will just continue doing what they say. If she gets the support of the Yonkers Democratic Committee, then there's no doubt about it, because they're not going to give their endorsement to any candidate that's going to go and speak outside of what they want you to speak, that's going to be independent, that's going to have your own way, of doing things, your own mind. They're not. Then you're not getting our endorsement. That's the bottom line. Look at what happened to Cater, right? They thought he was going to fall in line, but he didn't all the way. He didn't all the way. So boom, they got rid of him, right? And then they moved on to the next person. They got Lakeisha, and she's playing the game. She's falling in line. That's why the only thing she's ever done as city council president, really, and for the city at all, is to introduce the term limit extension. That's it. And so they're great people, I guess, but what are they doing for the city and the people that they represent? They have a job, right? They have responsibilities to the people that voted for them. And so what exactly are they doing? How are they, how they're doing their job? How, like, it's just, are they doing their job in the best manner they're supposed to, So that's all I'm saying. And so we have to watch this. And just because you think that they're nice people, right? And I'm saying what, these things about them as elected officials, doesn't mean that I'm, I think they're bad people, right? It's just that this is what she has to do. It's the matrix, Danny. It's the matrix ultimately, right? That's the best way to put it. We live in a matrix. We think one thing, but there's another reality, right? It's not. That's the reality. Is if she's gonna have Zahi Jarris, the Spano machine behind her, she's got to do what the and her dad. You think her dad is gonna, go against the Spano machine or have her go against the Spano machine? No way. No way. Spanos want this. They're gonna get it. There might be times when they vote differently, and it looks like they're for the people and they're going against the, the administration or whatever. But that's a game, because that vote doesn't matter anyway. So they're it's like a free vote. So let me use it to make myself look good to people, even though I know I'm not gonna, I'm gonna say I don't want it, right? Because that's what the people don't want. But it doesn't matter because it's still gonna get passed. So I'll take that free vote and try to look good, and it still gets passed. No harm, no foul. That's the game. That's the hustle. How many times have they done that? Many times. So Shanae did with the term limit vote, where she was like, oh, no, wait, I changed my mind. I want to vote no. Come on. Right? And if you're that, incompetent, why would anyone want you in the county level? Why? And if you haven't truly done anything to, have some kind of an impact on homelessness, and I'm referring to Shanae, why would you be the one to represent the county, District 16 at the county level, where that is your responsibility for sure? What are you going to do? The same thing you've done now, which is nothing, and you can say, well, that wasn't my responsibility. It's still your responsibility to shake up the county and make sure it does get taken care of, because your constituents are the ones that are complaining about it, right? So what do you say to your constituents? Well, that's not my job. See you later. That's the county. That's not representing the people. It's not representing the people. That's all I'm saying. And, you can be a puppet or you can be a leader. It's your choice, absolutely. But which one of them have been leaders, right? Which one of them? How many have actually been leaders?
Actions not.
Yes.
Actions
I've been
not
working in the city for the last 6 years. So I've seen some of the stuff go, come to our office about this shelter, that shelter, this one hanging outside. Listen, I love people. I love to help. If you know me, you know this is at my core. If I can figure out a way to help you, if I can give you the shirt off my back, if you want to eat and I can make you a plate, that's just me.
You are a good person. We know.
That's just me. So complaining about a shelter going up to benefit individuals who have a lack, that'll never make sense to me.
But at the same time, we have to understand the other side of the coin.
Oh, I do understand.
Because, you know, the homeless situation, I strongly believe that just building a shelter, a building, and putting the homeless in there does not.
So he was saying to her, you know, there's people that they complain about the homeless problem, but then they don't want a homeless shelter being built in their community. I don't know what you're saying. Give an example. What do you mean? Is that true? Who did that? I don't know what you're saying. Are they looking to build a homeless shelter in some, you know, housing community somewhere or so on the east side? Is that what you're referring to? Is that what they're setting up here? I'm telling you guys on the east side, they have to do something, and they cannot have Derek Jeter's new high-end steakhouse with, you know, that homeless population there by the, you know, Sawmill daylighting hanging out over there. They cannot have, you know, a homegirl with her raccoon over by the Derek Jeter steakhouse, right? People might start to thinking that they're giving them raccoon in there, right? So they can't have it. So they have to move them somewhere else. They have to give them an incentive to go to that other side. And they're going to say, hey, we put up a shelter on the east side. Now that we changed the zoning laws, you know, we got things for you guys over here. Let's hang out over there. And there you go. And so you hear what they're saying, you know, they should be, you know, put there. We got to do our part. Tasha Diaz was saying we need to have equal houses and equal buildings in each district. Oh my God. In trouble.
Like I said, I have 2 young boys. So I'm going to do everything in my power. And not saying that those parents didn't do everything in their power, because God gives us free will. So they made those choices. Doesn't matter how you're brought up or, you know, what was instilled in you. At the end of the day, you make the choice to be who you are. Your character is yours. So I can't say that those parents didn't do everything that they could to keep their children from doing what they're doing at this point. But I do believe, like, more programs, like we have amazing programs here. The churches, the different religious faiths that are here in this community, everybody needs to come together and figure out how we can help these young kids. I work with the YMCA, the YWCA. I'm a part of 914 United. I mentor young kids coming home from incarceration or at risk to be incarcerated. I work with them one-on-one. I spend time with them. I want to speak with them. I want to show them that there's other things that they can get involved in. You have Snug. You have these amazing organizations and these people from right here in our community, you know, trying to do something every day to prevent these kids from participating in these crimes. And I believe we need to highlight these organizations. We need to have, you know, bring all of this press to the events that they're having so people know this is what's going on. So people pick up the phone. Hey, I'm having so much trouble with my son. Is there something that you guys can do? Hey, can I bring my son to this? The school districts referring them to these programs. You have people here who want to help. You have pastors here who are willing to pray, come, talk, do whatever, volunteer work.
Absolutely. There are people out here that want to help. So why is it that when people are out here looking to help, they get stalled? Why is it that no one's referring anyone to me? I actually, you know, give individuals, do a second chance program, right? Where I give individuals who are incarcerated an opportunity to work. They're looking for a job. I put them on jobs. I give, even looking to train individuals to do the sales position, which is really where you can make the money. And if you're working with people, right? If you're working with people who are incarcerated, if you're saying you're doing the stuff, right? Well, here's an opportunity with me if they're looking for jobs, anyone that may come to you. But we don't connect. Why? I don't have an issue. This has been my issue. Really, I guess. I'm not saying it's an issue, but we don't connect, right? There's no real unity. It's everybody wanting to do their own thing. Everybody wanting to shine. She mentioned some organizations, right, that she is a part of. And one of them that she mentioned was Snug. I went to actually an interview years ago, actually. It was the year when they were going to bring it the very first time. And they did like a reverse discrimination because I had a 3-piece suit on. They said, well, if you were, you know, if this was IBM, we would have hired you. But, you know, We need people to connect with the kids that they're going to be engaging, which I was connecting with on a daily basis in my recording studio, right? But I got judged for dressing the way that we want to teach these kids how to dress. That's how you go into an interview, right? So, I wonder many times, how successful do they want these programs to be? Because if we reached out to people and collaborated, communicated, we could do big things, but we don't. We stay divided. People kind of fight. And it's not maybe just talking about me. I see it within other organizations. I just watched them. I noticed that right away. The very first time during the pandemic, we were doing something at St. Joseph. People were looking for donations. I came, I gave some money so they could buy some food for the nurses and all that. And, wanted to see what was being done. So I went and I saw the competition. And I was just like, you're supposed to be helping people. Anyway, you guys are competing to help people, right? But because everybody wants to be that person. Everybody just wants to be on top ultimately, Danny. This is what I'm saying, right? What are your true intentions? You say give her a chance. I'm not giving her a chance. But what is she saying that she's going to do exactly? What and how? Nothing much was said. And not just her, many of these interviews that Rue Rose does with elected officials don't tell us much. Did you watch the Lakeisha Collins Bellamy one? Again, she brought up the black puppet comment. She talked about housing and the ordinance, but said, it's a complex thing. And, we try to get it together, but then something comes up. It was already together. They just didn't want to pass it. And now she's BSing people. And I don't know about you, Danny. I don't like to be BS'd. Especially when I see it. Come on. I don't like to be BS, right? I don't know. That's just me. So I see it a mile away. It's not about giving a chance, but we know how this system works. We know how, Yonkers politics, you have to operate. Look at Mike Breen. Mike Breen is a diehard Spaniel soldier. He went against his own party and he has no shame in it. I mean, he's blatant about it. He don't care. I call him the Hamburglar. He don't care. Politics, and being a Spaniel soldier has been his, most successful career. And so he's going to continue that. He didn't get, the wieners didn't work, right? He was selling wieners. And then he did the limo thing. But it's been politics, being a good Spaniel loyal soldier. And that's what many individuals within our city government are. And they're politics for life. Taxpayer money to do nothing for us. Ultimately, Danny, have you gotten justice in your case? Don't you know a lot of people that know some people? Why haven't you gotten help in that? If I was your friend, Danny, like that, and I was in office or something, I would help you. 1,000%. You came to me? Yo, let me see. I'll give you something that you want, to help you out, right? I definitely would. I'd give you the time of day, Danny. I absolutely would, right? And why is my phone? No, you're not blocked. Everybody's blocked, Danny, because I get disgusting text messages. I get anonymous calls. So my phone is on Do Not Disturb. Anyone that wants to conduct business with me can go through my office and they'll reach out to me, right? Emails is another way. But I've been getting a lot of different text messages, a lot of different phone calls, from different random numbers. And I just, so I don't even bother with it anymore. That's why, to anyone who's tried to call me, where they wanted, they put together a right, exactly, and they passed it. Good point, right? So, and that's a good point, Danny, what he said there. Joe Dolly, he said, they wanted to get the term limit extension legislation, together and passed, and they did in 10 days. Yet you cannot get a housing ordinance that's already was put together. It was put together already. It was put together. They just had to, they passed it already, really. They just have to remain consistent. And they didn't. Why did Tasha change her vote? Why? Why did she change her vote? According to Zahi Jarris, this is what he said, the mayor went in and spoke with them just before they voted. And maybe he was convincing in what he said. But why would he be going in there when they're about to vote to override his veto? They are going to make a decision on whether or not they are going to X out his decision. So why would he go there and tell them, right? I mean, I don't know. Am I wrong? Nobody sees what I'm saying? I mean, you don't get it? You know what I'm saying? I'm just being funny. I'm just saying, like, it's so obvious. It is so obvious. You know, and so for people to still continue to, say, I don't, you got to give them, that's what they're going to do. It's just how it is, Danny. And if you go against the grain, Danny, they're going to attack you like they've been attacking me. That's why they've been saying everything under the sun that they can about me, because I am going against the grain. Why do you think they're doing it? If I was bullshitting, if what I was saying was not true, whatever, they wouldn't even care. They would never mention me. They wouldn't, falsely call CPS, do things, to harm my business, things that they can get sued for, quite possibly things that they can get arrested for. Actually, they have done things that they can get arrested for. All right, why? Because they don't want you guys to notice. They want to keep the same, reality or the same
We
lie.
all need to take a look at what we have right here in this community, promote it, and actually be involved in it.
I don't want to talk bad about anyone in particular.
But you always do.
With the people on the council.
Because I have to tell you that it's not just my opinion. It's the opinion of lots of people here in Yonkers that the current council looks more like a dysfunctional family. Okay. You might have a different
everybody
opinion.
is entitled to their opinion.
Well, and I'm giving you mine, and I'm giving you the people.
And dysfunctional families are still families. They won't always get along. But I do believe every person sitting on the council loves their district, loves this city, and wants to do what's best for this community. Whether it looks like that or it plays out at this meeting or that meeting, I do believe everybody's heart is in the right place. Like I said, we need to figure out how
that
to
comment.
race a little bit better. We're so quick to jump to judgment. Oh, this one, that one, this one. Listen, one politician cannot fix anything. We all need to come together. There needs to be unity. There needs to be transparency. And like I said, we need to operate in grace. We need to have conversations on, okay, why do you not want to vote for this? Okay, how can we meet in the middle? How is it that my district can assist your district? It's just a matter of communication and working together.
Okay, since you brought up family, so let me give you the other side of the
communication and working together. That's right. I agree with her. Absolutely. Right. We have to have good communication in order to be effective, and they have to get along, but they don't. They're divided. But why? Because it's purposely done. They are purposely put against each other, as we are here in the community, by the powers that be, by those that are already in power and in control of the city of Yonkers and do not want to relinquish that control. And that is why they're doing everything to come at me. That is why they are scared of that lawsuit to stop them from running for a fourth term. They're scared of anyone who presents a strong opposition. That's why they got rid of Mike Cater. They're going to continue to keep people divided because that's how they control and conquer, right? Divide and conquer. And that is why I have been calling for all of us to come together, united as one, not divided with individual agendas, but together, and oppose this fourth term and, support change. Speak your truth. Speak the truth. Let's be honest about these elected officials. Just keep it real. The way they like to keep it real, right, Tasha? Let's keep it real. You guys have sold out the people. You have been allowed to be used. And I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed for you and for me as a person of color. And the behavior that you guys have displayed, and the fact that you are just a bunch of paid puppets. No independent minds anywhere in that council. No real heroes. You guys had ladies had an opportunity to really make history. And you failed. Failed. So I'm not sure what we're supposed to, be proud of, really, or be happy for. And people have to wake up. You have to see it for what it is. All right? You have to see it for what it is. They cannot continue to distract you with, these little events at Lincoln Park. What does that do for the people? What? How many landlords you know that are black? How many of you are paying rent to a black landlord? Not saying there's none. Right? I get it. And but really, how many of you are? Think about that. Right? How many black heads of departments are there, like commissioners? How many? When was the last time we saw a black police commissioner? Was there ever a Hispanic commissioner, police commissioner? What about building department? Any blacks or Latinos with engineering degrees? Wait, you don't need it anymore. Now it's just, I believe, a GED. How many? How many DPW commissioners were black? There's been enough employees that are black. What about Hispanic DPW commissioners? How long has Tom Meyer been there? How many black and Hispanic chairmen of Democratic parties have been there? Have we seen? How many? Not very many, right? And how long it's been now? It's 2023. 2023. We've been having this same fight since 1987. And they found a new way to do it. It's nothing changed. Let's give them a little something. Create a false perception. But they're not getting anything. No ownership. They'll let you be a sportscaster, but you can't be an owner. There was Ken Jenkins, and the Spanos pushed him out. You got Ken Jenkins, Andrea Stewart Cousins, Christopher Johnson. Help me out. 3 ladies, not because Corazon's not black technically, right? In the council. Simmer Brandon, simmer down. She's been all around. How many awards is she gonna get? What has she been doing lately? Guys, give the same people awards. Same black people get the same awards, yo. All right, let's not forget we got an award of black person. Simmer Brandon. And then, of course, they always lead off all these rallies where people are protesting something, at City Hall or with Keisha Skipper. She's always the first one. And then they go to Keisha Skipper, and then everybody else is in support of the mayor. Right? The first person to speak is going to be Keisha Skipper. The one out, she opposes it, and then everybody else is in support of it until, it's midnight, and then they'll let the people who are opposing it back on. Right? But we had to let Keisha Skipper because, Keisha Skipper will say, they didn't let me go. And we've been seeing that for years. The hell has changed? It's like, it really is like Groundhog Day in this place. I mean, I've been a lot of places, and this is crazy. It's unbelievable. And there's no disrespect to anybody. It's just, this isn't like, this isn't high school. Like, this isn't the high school, government, This is the 3rd largest city of the state of New York. Not the state of North Dakota. State of New York. And so that's all I'm saying, you know. Anybody whose campaign is backed by the Spano war machine is told to avoid giving specifics about policies, intentions, how they'd vote. They're told to speak about their character and other generalities and let the Spanos get them elected the Tammany Hall way. That's right, by clobbering over people over the head and dragging them to the polls and telling them to vote for all Spano and Zahi Jarrett's candidates. Or else your business will get destroyed, right, Roberto? You didn't look very happy to be next to the mayor because you know it's time. You got the Latinos, you need those putting that pressure. We need more Hispanics, but the right Hispanics. You know, it bothers me to see these elite Hispanics, right? I don't care to see rich white people do their thing, whatever. It bothers me more to see Hispanics and blacks that got money. And like you think you're better than the other blacks and Hispanics. And then you're hobnobbing with people outside of your race, looking down on your own. That bothers me. Right? Because you think you're better now because you're in this crowd. They still think you're shit. Trust me, I know. They're just using you. It's time to change, folks. It's time for change. Let's vote real, genuine people into office. And we need you guys to come out and run. Stop being scared. Step up to the plate. There are a lot of great, amazing people here in the city of Yonkers with fresh ideas, fresh new faces. People that are successful, but just remain quiet. Go to work. And we need you guys to come out. Step up. It's time for change. It's time for change. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me. I heard that the Jenkins and Latimer are supporting the term extension so Spano stays out of the county executive race. Of course. Latimer was at Nodine with cookies and information of things the county are helping the seniors with, just like he is supporting Alvarado and his double dipping. We can never agree 100% with a politician because they never stay straight and narrow. Like, I don't know. We have to share this podcast. We have to really share it. I don't make a dollar. I don't care about the, views other than I want as many people to understand what's happening here in the city of Yonkers. I mean, a lot of people have said that they didn't know what was going on until they started watching my podcast. And that just, tells me that many people just are oblivious because, like Anthony said, they just tell you to go on there and sell them on your personality, right? So everybody thinks you're so great. And I'm not saying you're not. But can you do this position, right? We are like the employers. We must interview them. Will you hire them for your business? If the city of Yonkers was your company, would you hire them to make decisions within your company? I would fire all of them. And I hope that you all do too. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I'm up out of here. Have a good night. I will go on to the Shanae Wiliams. Maybe not tomorrow. I got Anthony DiMaggio coming out tomorrow. And also, folks, on Sunday, I'm going to be having my wife join me. I want her to come on here and discuss, she's an expert. She's an expert on, child development, social services, social work. She's an LMSW. She's a college professor. She teaches, early childhood development. Like she's all this information, right? And I want her to come on to discuss, the effects, right, of trauma created by CPS investigations, specifically on innocent people, and why it is important that CPS, create a department or something to specifically investigate false CPS reporting because it is 84% of the reports. So why not have a department that does this at this point? 84% is too high. So what that's telling us is that more people are being traumatized by CPS, their caseworkers, and their bogus investigations than people are actually being, abused by some relative or neighbor or something. Because it's only about 16% really that are true. Why? Because people have realized that you can turn somebody's life upside down. So now it has been utilized as a weapon. So most of those calls, and all those calls really, I'm gonna say some people may have thought something was going on, but for the most part of that 84%, I would imagine that at least almost 90%, if not more of that, are people simply using it to weaponize it against someone they have a vendetta against, being vindictive. And so why isn't the system doing anything? Why isn't social services doing anything? That is causing problems, huge problems. And if the city, the government, the county, the state, whoever is not going to do anything, again, people will start taking the law into their own hands. People's kids are playing with. And so she'll be on to discuss, all about, this topic here, because she was very involved. I mean, she was working with Senator Shelley Mayer as well as County Legislator Christopher Johnson to create a citizens review panel here in Westchester so that people can go and, file their grievances with CPS, and they can review policy and procedures, make necessary changes. Right. And as it stands now, if anyone in Westchester wants to do this, they have to go all the way up to Syracuse for the citizen review panel there. Right. So my wife said, that's too far. We need one here. Right. The city of New York has one for itself. That's the closest one to us, but that's just for New York City. So we needed one here. So my wife was working with those officials, stalled a little bit. We're trying to get this move forward, but my wife has done some incredible things with the CPS and Department of Social Services. So, you fools trying to report these fake reports with idiots. We've become experts with this by now. But you guys are GED idiots. This is why it is important that we put money into our educational system. Here in Yonkers. Thank God I graduated in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I love you. I really do. Have a beautiful and blessed night. Thank you for joining me once again. Drive to want to get things done here in the city of Yonkers and not just say that's the way the world is. Some gonna stay, some are gonna leave. I don't care. I just want to get elected. We need to find that person. I feel like we need to really take advantage of this opportunity. Latinos, again, Hispanics, we have a huge opportunity. Join me. Share the podcast. See what happens in the next 2 weeks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thank you, folks. I will see you mañana with Anthony DiMaggio, former Yonkers police lieutenant. We're going to get that whole Montero lawsuit straightened out, right? Anthony says Keith Olsen was wrong. Keith Olsen said the Anthony Montero lawsuit was eventually dismissed, so there was nothing there, but that's not what actually happened. And so Anthony DiMaggio will be on to join me. Hey, Keith, I welcome you back. And anyone else, Ray Montero, anyone from YPD, shout out to you guys. Be safe. God bless you guys, too. Thank you for all you guys do. And thank you for that video pushing Ruros out of the scene. That made my week, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man, because, I can't do nothing to him, right? He's going to call you guys. He has. How many times now? How many times he called you guys now? Mr. Karate Man. So I guess you wasn't really a karate man. You were just a little kid toucher. That was just your disguise. You never got any belt.
Freddie wins.
Except the one your mom gave you when you were touching little kids. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Folks, you must come out and vote for change. Look at our city. It's a damn hot mess. I'm gonna put my GoPro camera to the front of my car, and I'm gonna video record the potholes in the roads. Really, I'm gonna show you the roads of the city of Yonkers. I mean, they are effing ridiculous, and it's a damn shame, and we don't deserve that. We shouldn't have to put up with that, Yonkers. We should not have to put up with that. We don't all get city cars. It's not fair. I mean, my car is getting fucking damaged, man, and it's not cheap to fix that car. All right? That's because I pay for it, not the taxpayers. So I can do that.
Freddie wins.
But I'm gonna get some footage of the roads. Horrible. Sawmill River Road, horrible. Central Avenue, horrible.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Jeez, I can't believe it. Nepperhan, horrible. The intersection of South Broadway and Prescott, is it? Right there by the Burger King and the, what is that? Oh, the chicken place. Popeyes, right there by City Hall. That's a freaking, what is wrong with that intersection? What's wrong with that? Your mayor, I can't imagine that. Oh, I guess you're never at the office. That's the problem. But when you ever go back to the office, make sure you go to that intersection. I mean, it's like a roller coaster when you're going over. It's horrible. And it's right there in front of City Hall.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
We don't deserve that, Yonkers. We deserve better, Yonkers. We deserve better.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie